Hey guys, Joe Pal Brian. It's August 11th in the mid part of the morning here in Perrysburg, Ohio, near Lake Erie. It's interesting because the weather here is such that you check the radar before you go to bed, and weather bug, and nobody says anything about bad weather, and sure enough, things go awry.
Stabilization on.
I'm going to take off that way because it's a bit breezy. So this is just a transition stop, as most of mine are, and I go look around the community for shopping and all the necessities of life. Taking off. That thing is so crooked. And you look around for the local communities for a place to fly, and this is about 3 miles from the RV park that I'm staying at. That is so crooked. It's more crooked than it generally is. And I've tried to kind of like hand make it less crooked, but it doesn't help. It rides up underneath where my generator is. But yeah, the storms came through at 3 a.m. and woke me up, and yeah, oof, boy, they're kicking like Jackie Chan too. Broke trees. I was looking on the way here, it broke trees. It said 60-mile-an-hour winds, and I bet it was.
4 minutes.
Had something bounce off the rig, and went up and checked this morning just to make 100% certain that I wasn't going to enjoy a hole in my roof. The roof on my rig is made out of rubber, like Lowe's and Home Depot and a lot of places. EPDM rubber. So yeah, I found this place. The place is Luckey, Luckey, and I think it said it was settled in 1881, and they were somehow or another in '93 volleyball champs. The sign touts. You drive through its Old Town district, which I think is all it is Old Town, and the it's just so cattywampus, the fuselage, and really there's not. I guess I could.
3 minutes.
I guess if I held it under tension and put a couple of skewers on the fuse and glued them in, maybe that'd do it. Yeah, I gotta do something. That's crazy. It just drives me crazy. So I drove through the town, and just a beautiful old town like all of these are, and found that Luckey hadn't been so lucky, and the one little restaurant that lives here is just, it's dead. Yeah, that's what I'm end up having to do, is stick a couple of barbecue skewers, wooden skewers, through the fuse, and glue them under tension with some type of jig, and that'll make me happier. Won't add much in the way of weight. Had a real nice time at the YMCA. Finally got in over there, where I could camp. Real nice people. Oh my God, just restores your faith in human nature. And then I guess they're dumping garbage. Then came here, and it's just hot. It's hot as hell. It's mid-August. The whole nation's hot. So we spend time hiding from the heat and just hang out at the rig and get maintenance done. For instance, today I'm probably 28% on the oil change, but I'm going to go ahead and get that done, because I don't know when I'm going to be around a Chevy dealer. when I go up into the UP of Michigan. We're excited about doing that, getting up there and enjoying
1 minute.
the UP, the boat tours and all the other stuff, and hopefully kids will be back in school and it won't be so crowded. The KOA we're at right now is, they call it the Journey. I think there's 3 versions, Journey, Holiday, and something else. But Journey basically means it's light on the amenities and it's just a place to park while you're in transit. We just happen to be here for 7 days or 5 useful days. Yeah, you arrive on Sunday, there ain't nothing you can do. Then there's Monday through Friday. And wife got her haircut, I got a haircut. You know, just the normal trappings of day-to-day life. Got Ellie's nails trimmed at the last place, or the place before last. So we don't have to do that. Got her food for 6 weeks. We have about 90.
Timer 1 elapsed.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and land. We have about 94 days left or so, and we'll talk about that more on the next battery. Might just let this thing run.
Throttle home.
Landing.
Throttle home.
Woo, this is slippery. God almighty, this is slippery. Ah, man, I don't know how they do that. That's crazy. Let me show you my skid. Can you see that over there? Yeah, we won't be doing that. You can see the difference in coloration. So, yeah, I already slipped. I slipped over at the at the YMCA. Man, it was bad. Well, bad. I got lucky. Let's we'll do one more battery on here and then maybe swap out to the Ultrix.
Telemetry lost.
Charge 3 batteries. I broke out my big charger. The little charger is nice, but there's something doing. It's
Telemetry recovered.
you have to charge at a particularly low rate. Otherwise, it shows you the batteries are already full. I don't know if that has to do with my power supply or what. Yeah, there's your bust ass right there waiting to happen, huh?
Throttle active.
Taking off. Oops. Not yet.
Switch warning.
Won't be long. I'm gonna have to charge my radio's battery. Taking off. It's not good. Okay, gotta be careful stepping out here. It didn't get too muddy. A little more juice and a little more elevator. Yeah, man, that is slippery.
Throttle home. Throttle home. Throttle active. Throttle active.
Okay, careful. You're gonna see the camera all of a sudden whip up towards the sky. There we go. Yeah, I think I'll do that when I get home. I got nothing else better to do. Tomorrow morning I'm going to, oops, there's a swallow that's taking issue with me. Green swallow or bank swallow. Yeah, that's what I'll do. What else? What else? What else? Oh, it's time to charge up the tires in the rig. They run at 125 pounds, heavier than semi tires, more air than. I'll do that tomorrow morning before it gets too hot. Probably come out and fly again. It's not too windy. I might bring the little Timby. Watching. Oh, and shout out to Brewhammer for coming and just stopping by on occasion. It's really nice of them. These lights. I don't want to make one of my models ring like a ball peen hammer. I will say this though. Probably going to carry bring. It's funny, somebody was picking on me about that, my southern aphorisms. Probably going to bring the I've got a 250 size FPV. That's called the oh, I forget what it's called now, but anyway, it's 250 size, and I'll bring it out tomorrow with the FPV goggles and fly it out here. That'd be fun. You can just fly around these things.
3 minutes.
Yeah, things are so strong, if you hit them, it won't bother it anyway, really, hardly. But that's not true. It'd probably obliterate it. That's steel, man. ZMR 250 is what it is. I built that thing 5 years ago, or assembled it. It'll be fun to fly it out here with FPV. Bring a chair. Get all that done before the sun comes up. Put a camera on it. It'll be fun. Okay, on he's putting together a little, either 1 or 2S
2 minutes.
stick FPV. I guess is moving on to the FPV world, which is great. It's fun. It's the shiz. It's another dimension. I mean, if you can't fly this, and you know, you can. Well, he flies in the wind anyway, but if you get bored, let's say flying planks, just being able to get out there with FPV is really nice. Just nice. It adds another dimension. I'd probably spend, when I'm at home, you know, 50% of my time. Nah, it's not true anymore. Maybe 20% of my time, all told, flying with goggles. So I'll have my tires balanced and rotated, which is a big deal, and keeping your tires alive. Oil change, it's a big deal. You're hauling a lot of weight.
1 minute.
And left myself a little slop for if it isn't done right, and I'm going to mention that to them. I'm getting about 50% when I travel the nation because they don't calibrate their machines. Their tire balancing machine, so it's a hassle. But yeah, get that done. I have my appointment's at 1. I'll get there a little early, and I will not leave before 4:30. It's just how that works. A little wind blowing over there, maybe. Yeah, it probably did get 60 miles an hour. It was complaining about that on the radar warning. I was up for that. Went back to sleep this morning, which is uncharacteristic for me.
Timer 1 elapsed.
Oh, man. Bring her in. Landing.
Throttle hold. Throttle hold.
Okay, step lively. I don't know how the Ultrix is going to do in this. This is pretty good wind, probably 10 to 14 maybe. But I'll give it a shot. Yeah, maybe if I glue that joker in. Let's go over here where I'm less likely to wipe out. I don't know. Got to bend it over pretty hard. I don't know. I'll play with it. Driving me crazy though. All right, back in a flash. The Ultrix. Trying to figure out whether I want to replace the Edge 32 in the fall with a Sally. You can use the same drive system per or replace the expand my repertoire yet once again with the bigger Ultrix. So figure that one out. Taking off. Oh yeah. That was one of the beauties of this thing. Not only does it pack up in a pizza-sized box, but it's not super affected by the wind. It appears the swallows are taking issue though. They're outnumbered now. Yeah, I just checked in on the new Ultrix, the bigger Ultrix, the new and improved bigger Ultrix thread, and people are having to buy props for them. One guy had a funny observation. He says, if I don't buy props for it, they won't break. I say he says if I do buy props for it, they won't break.
6 minutes.
If I don't get spares, they'll break. So I had a chuckle at his expense because it's the same thing I suffer. You know, you don't buy a spare prop or two, they'll break. Yeah, I want to stay out of the mud. Ultrix. Well, it turns out in retrospect, I gave away my JJRC M02 and there was probably nothing wrong with it. But a prop turned upside down. I could have swore I'd tested them. I love that thing. I may buy myself another one of them down the road a piece too. Maybe a newer iteration, one that you can actually fly like a plane, because you could not fly that thing like a plane. It would drop a wing, and that was it. In fact, that thing may.
5 minutes.
The newer version of this, the bigger one, may suffice for the likes of a JJRC M02 in that it's bigger and it can carry a camera. Basically, the M02 was just a very stable tricopter that could carry a camera. Fun little airplane though. Fun little airplane. Keep your skills up. What else? Okay, so we're going to the UP and we'll be there for about a month. We're going to try to, I think what's happened is our friends in
4 minutes.
Canada are opening the gates here in a few weeks, and I think what they want is they want see the bank swallows. They want a I don't want to hear FERP. What they want is a negative test within, I don't know, 72 hours or something like that. So we'll have to go get a test. I think they're free, and present that along with our card that we've been vaccinated, and a small letter from the Pope or a bishop, and yeah, so I think that's what's going to happen. But my wife's going to want in. I could almost care less, particularly on the side of Canada that we're on. I don't think there's anything to see. It's not like Prince Edward Island or Nova Scotia. So, oh, and there's some discussion about wanting to go back out west again. She says she hadn't made up her mind. I just told her the wifey poo. I said, you know what? Whichever one you want to do, I'll be equally as happy with. West is a long way out. But man, it's just frankly, it's a better world. And my logic was, you know, we don't know if it's going to catch on fire next year, and there are droughts worsening and so on and so forth. But I don't know that that's going to get cured either in the coming. I couldn't tell you the following year that it ain't going to catch fire. And we've been to some of the places where you can kind of dodge the fire. So, and by that I mean, the coast. You're more likely to be okay, and you'll have more ways out. Woo! I think the last flight's going to be on the edge because this is whipping. Oops. Landing. Woo! Man, that is slippery. It may very well be done. Another skid. What else? Oh, I'll talk more when I get back. The Edge 32 again. This will be my last flight of the morning. So let's talk about RCG a little bit. I talked to a lot of the players, communicate with a lot of the players on there.
Throttle active. Throttle active.
You see all these places I slipped. And it's kind of fun because many of the players that I still like Scott, and well, yeah, there's only one or two that I didn't like. Harry Sausage, that fuck. Old Coasty just turned out to be the quintessential interloper. He's a freak. I talk to Ox and, communicate, that is, and a lot of the players. So there's not any giant benefit for me going back to RCG. Anyway, I was invited back to go poke around, and that was when they had a recent dust up with Joel the Turd. And yeah, why bother? And then, of course, that thing that old Coasty did, he's, what a turd, man. What an embarrassing turd. So,
4 minutes.
yeah, I kind of decided to bow out of that, continue to bow out. It's been about 6 months anyway. March, I think, is when I left, and I came back briefly, and ugh. And just people can't behave, man. But it was fun talking with Scott. Scott says, well, Joel hadn't been back since Steven chided him. And I go, that's awesome. You done turned into an ass when Steve has to get on your case. But it is funny because I says he'll be back. That dude, he'll stay away, and then eventually he'll come back. And then I think where the error really occurs is that people feed the trolls. And maybe they're right in that if the person behaves, you should perhaps go ahead and start talking to them again. But I have a long memory. And that boils down to
3 minutes.
Another observation, and that's that Scott is smart enough to, San Diego Ute fan is smart enough to be able to not get dragged under the wheels on this thing, or as we say, wrapped around the axle. He's very able to take this for what it is, and it's not real. Whew, man, it's getting windy. Me, on the other hand, I don't have that ability, and I take it personally, and perhaps I shouldn't, but that's my personal build. When you transgress me, even in these web forums, I want to throttle you. Or at least, stand up for my position. And the people like Joel out there, they just, oh my God, he's a narcissistic sociopath. And he ends the discussion most likely how his father or his mother did, and says, period, it's done. End of discussion. Well, no, it's not. Who made you? We're having a discussion. Who made you the harbinger of discussion ending? Turd? God almighty. Just a jerk. So yeah, with unbelievable satisfaction, Even though old Coasty comes off as just a sycophant nice guy, he's truly an interloper that wants things done the way he perceives it. So I left the thread after 5 years. Congratulations, you prick. And
1 minute.
yeah, same thing for Joel. And her Savage, he's just, it's known what a turd he is. And he behaves for a while and then shows his butt and then disappears, then comes back, and then people feed the troll. Yeah, that was one of the more outrageous, awful threads I've ever seen, and one that, just in principle, the folks are correct about Oz and that he shouldn't be flying around other people, but we can't change that. You can try to shame him, but he's going to do what he wants to do. My observation all along is I just want, if he hits somebody, that dumpster fire, I need to see it on tape. That's all. I don't want him to kill a baby or a nun, but it would be awesome if you could lay eyes on the eventual whack. But to ostracize and just do a virtual lynching, that's bad form. Ox's observations are probably the most accurate. Alrighty, well, we won't overstress this battery, and we'll do a little hovering, and we'll try this next time. Woo, that's 14-mile-an-hour wind right there. Landing.
Throttle hold.
Pull it over. Yeah, you can kind of tell the difference in color where you're able to, or how you're able to walk. I got long legs and a high center of gravity, and that is a recipe for wiping out. Such a fun little plane. It really is. I love this thing. All right, well, thanks for hanging out with me, and perhaps I'll see you all tomorrow. Sleep.